So let's talk about consultative selling now. So instead of talking about the product, we're focused more on the prospect and learning about the prospect's needs. We try to learn about the prospect's needs by asking more questions. So instead of, this is what I sell, do you need what I sell? It's more about, how are things going today? What are you using today? What are your goals? And the goal is not to get prospects interested in what you sell. The goal primarily or first is to look for prospects that need what you sell, and then to make those prospects interested. And you try to make those prospects interested by providing your product as a solution to what they need. Now, if we look at sort of everybody that you can sell to, this isn't everybody in the country or everybody on the planet, but everybody in your sort of like target market, or everybody you come in contact with during your prospecting effort, you can usually slice them into this type of pie chart, with the bulk of the pie being prospects that just don't need what you sell. Either that they're not the right size, they already use someone today, they don't have any money and never will. And then the next largest pie piece is there could possibly be a need. And then the next smaller piece is that there is a need. And the smallest slice of the pie is that there's a need right now. And what a product selling salesperson might do is they might, because they're just selling the product and not taking as much time to learn about the prospect, they typically try to sell to everybody. Now, don't get me wrong, of course at some point a product selling salesperson might disqualify a lead as not being the right fit. But out of the gate, let me give you an example. Out of the gate, a product selling salesperson might try to schedule appointments with the entire pie, meaning prospects that don't need what they sell. And that leads to more resistance, more objections. And when you do schedule meetings with prospects that don't need what you sell, it leads to wasted time for both the salesperson and the prospect. The consultative salesperson in every interaction will focus more on the prospect to learn about them, and thus will focus on the smaller slices of the pie, which are prospects that may need what they sell. There is a need, or there is a need now, and they're able to find out those details by asking more questions and having a more consultative approach. Let me give you an example comparing these two methodologies or selling approaches to one another. And a lot of times I like to use selling a gym membership as an example, because it's just very easy for us all to relate to and get our hands around. But let's say that someone walks into a gym to take a tour or to possibly buy a membership, and they are received by a product selling salesperson. What that might look like is the product selling salesperson might greet them and almost immediately after getting their maybe personal information, the salesperson will take them on a tour of the facility. Here are our treadmills, here are our weights, here's our steam room, lap pool, and we have some yoga classes. And what they're doing in that process is they're showing the product, which basically is the product selling approach. This is who I work for, this is what I sell. After that, they'll maybe take them to the office and show some membership packages and try to close the sale. Now, comparing that to a consultative selling approach might look like this, where the prospect walks in and this consultative salesperson sits down with that person for about 15-20 minutes to learn what brought them in. What goals are they? What goals do they have? What are they trying to improve? What do they like that they're currently doing? And they will ask a variety of questions to understand what's going on with the prospect. After that, they give the prospect a tour, which could be the equivalent of a demonstration of a product in B2B selling. And the nice thing about this approach is that not only are they able to qualify the prospect in terms of how likely they are to buy, but they can also determine how much time they want to spend giving the tour. They can also tailor the tour to the prospect's exact needs. If the prospect is focused on improving cardiovascular health, the salesperson can focus on how the product can help with that particular need. And after that, they can then show them the membership options and try to close the sale. The difference between the two is that the product selling salesperson is going to spend most of the time talking about the product, for example, treadmills, weight weight machines and classes, and the consultative salesperson might be talking about things like improving one's life, getting healthier, decreasing medical costs, improving self-confidence, improving personal relationships, because those are all benefits that result from using the product. So when it's time to close the sale will be much easier for the salesperson that's talking about life transformation compared to the salesperson that's talking about weights and treadmills and comparing that against a monthly membership. So now if we look at the two side by side, you can see the product selling is talking about the company, the product, features, and pricing, and just trying to close the sale or validate interest. The consultative salesperson focuses more on benefits, problems, asking questions to see if problems exist, customer examples. When they do talk about the product, it's all about features, differentiation, ROI, bragging points about the company. So when you look at that, this is what I was getting to earlier, which is to say product selling could be easier when you're just trying to figure out what do I need to say in this exact moment, because it is a little more complicated and sophisticated to think about the benefits that the product delivers to the buyer, that the problems that they may have, figuring out good questions to ask, customer examples and whatnot. So it takes an effort to stop what you're doing and organize your thoughts and maybe get those on paper to build your consultative selling sales message. So product selling can be done with more improvisation. Consultative selling, if you want to do it properly, you need to kind of prepare a little bit more on the front end. The good news is that while product selling might be a little easier, consultative selling is easier in the long run because you will face much less objections, reluctance, resistance, rejection. So the last thing I want to point out on this is that a lot of times when people hear consultative selling, they often may think that, well, that's for technical products like IT or software or something that's very complicated, and that if they have a simple product that they just need to do product selling. The reality is that you could have the most sophisticated, complicated product and think that you're doing consultative selling, but really you're just going out and talking about the product, meaning you could sell IT services, IT consulting, but still just have a very product selling approach where, hey, I sell IT consulting. Do you need IT consulting? We're the largest provider of IT consulting, and all you do is talk about the product. So it doesn't. You can do product selling with technical products. You could also do consultative selling with very simple products. Let's just take the most simple product at all. Let's say you sell hot dogs at a sports arena. You could technically, I'm not saying you should do this because it's more of an impulse purchasing a hot dog, but you could apply the consultative selling approach to selling a hot dog. By asking the buyer, do you usually eat hot dogs? What kind of hot dogs do you like? What type of toppings do you like on your hot dogs? When was the last time you had a hot dog? Do you have any concerns about the hot dogs you're currently eating? What are some things you're looking for when you purchase something to eat? What are some other things that you might be considering instead of a hot dog? So you can use the consultative approach with any product. It doesn't have to be a very complex or product that is around consulting. So now, while I said it will take a little bit of work to build your consultative message, and consultative selling is a little bit more difficult, the good news is that with the smart selling sales system, it's much easier to build your message because we take you through a structured process. If you were to try to adopt a consultative selling approach without these three levels and without the smart sales system, it might be difficult, and it might take you years of building up experience in your particular industry selling your product in order to be a really good consultative selling salesperson. The good news is that you could be brand new to your area, brand new to your role, and if you just follow the steps of the smart sales system, you can adopt a consultative selling approach and you can build a consultative message, which is what we're going to focus on next when we focus on level 1, and we'll take you through a structured process to build